It is fair to say Australia is currently gripped by a massive housing crisis. So many are still waiting for government or market solutions, and our next guest is actually taking a much more direct approach and creating co-living spaces for older women. I'm joined in the studio by Dionne Payn from Women for Homes. Great to see you, Dionne.
Great to see you too.
Let's talk about the scale of the problem, particularly for older women at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So between 2011 and 2021, the number of women over 55 that were experiencing homelessness increased by over 40%.
Wow, that's a huge number.
It's a huge number. It's a huge number. So that's why they're called the fastest growing demographic facing homelessness. And what we're doing is we're trying to create more options, more affordable options for women in that vulnerable cohort.
It's interesting because so much of the conversation about housing in Australia is about young home buyers, first home buyers, single home buyers, retirees and CGT, but we don't often hear about the challenges faced by older women. Why do you think that is? And you speak about the problem growing significantly by 40%. How's this been allowed to happen?
Well, it definitely shouldn't be allowed to happen, but often homelessness in this demographic is hidden, so people don't know what's going on. So a woman might be couch surfing, she might be sleeping in her car, she might be camping or just living in unsafe situations. So because it's hidden, because we're not seeing the traditional person on the street, people don't really know that it exists. Yeah,
very much so. Talk to us about women co-buying properties from as little as $5,000. I mean, there'd be a lot of people not even knowing that that is possible. Talk to us about that.
This is really exciting actually, because it means that anybody can be part of the solution to the housing crisis. So one way of doing this is through purchasing property as tenants in common. Now when we purchase property, we can either do it that way or we can do it as joint tenants, and that's how most people, if you buy a house with your partner, whether it be your husband or wife, most people will go as joint tenants, which is very limited in terms of if somebody in that partnership passes, then their share of the property automatically transfers to their spouse. Whereas with tenants in common, larger groups of people can come together to purchase a property. It's proportional in how much money you put into that particular transaction, and there's so much more flexibility. So a tenants in common share can be sold, it can be bequeathed. In some cases it can even be mortgaged, although a caveat to that is that the lending for those types of shares is very limited at this stage. But it just gives more options, and it means that people can purchase property together and benefit from the wealth creation ability of property together as well.
Because a lot of people who are in this situation, they think that there's no way out. Do you see this as being a potential solution, and that difference between joint tenancy and tenancy in common?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wouldn't say it's the solution, but it's definitely a solution. And
is it widely known, do you think?
No, people don't really know about it. So
that's fascinating, isn't it? There's a lot of people with a need, such a drastic need, particularly if we're talking about homelessness and women 50 and above finding themselves in this terrible scenario, and yet it isn't widely known that this is an option.
No, and I think that we've all got stuck in the traditional way of doing property, and with the scale of the housing crisis at the moment, we've got to come up with some really creative solutions. So it's not that we're making anything new, it's just that we're applying what's already existing and coming together and thinking about it differently.
What's the feedback been then from co-buyers?
It's been beautiful. It's been really wonderful. So as an example, I was talking to a lady the other day. She's been renting her whole life. She never thought that she'd be able to purchase a property.
Be a homeowner.
And be a homeowner, and now she can from just $5,000.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And what are the next steps for people? So if you want to start off the journey here, as always, it's the jumping off point that's the most difficult. What do they have to do other than just coming up with $5,000?
Well, there's a whole raft of things that need to happen. Co-owner's deed is something that needs to be signed so that everybody is on the same page when they enter that transaction in the first place. I mean, this is something that we're starting at the moment with a group of women who are very excited to be participating. But what I'm hoping is that people see, oh, this is absolutely possible, and they can replicate this as well. And I think that we all have a part to play in ending the housing crisis, and this is one of the easier ways of doing it, coming together, co-buying and providing homes, not just for older women, but for younger people, for all groups that need it.
Dionne, it's such a beautiful and important message, and we love supporting you here at Ticker because it is such an important topic for people who do want to get in touch or maybe know someone who should get in touch. What should they do? Where should they head? Yeah, just head to women4homes.com. That's women4homes.com. All right, Dionne Payn. Always appreciate your insights on Ticker. Thank you. Thank you so much.